Houston, we have a problem.
Give me all you got!
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Give me back my gun! I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Hello and welcome to Stand and Watch, the best and only dad movie podcast you're ever going to listen to, because we killed all of the other ones. Hello, Steve Buscemi. I am your host, Matt.
Hey Steve, it's Nick. I'm back. I hope you're having a good 2025 so far, Steve. I hope your home in the hills is still around. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you're safe.
Does he live in the hills? I thought he lived in New York.
Isn't there hills everywhere? I imagined he had. I imagine if he lives in New York that he still has a house in the hills, maybe.
You know whose house I hope is safe in the Hollywood Hills?
Who?
Ty Lopez. I hope his house in the Hollywood Hills is safe, as well as his garage with all his Lamborghinis, and most importantly, his bookshelves.
You know whose home I hope is safe in the Hollywood Hills?
Who?
James Woods. Because if his house doesn't burn down, then nobody gives him the time of day to spout whatever bullshit's going to come out of his mouth. Like, but wait, there's no such thing. It's like, James, your house is fine. Shut the fuck up. We're not here to talk to you.
I hate that you bring up James Woods, because my mom met James Woods once.
Did she say he was nice?
She did say he was nice. She was an extra for a day on Videodrome, and she said that James Woods was very nice, and he said hello to all the extras, and that Blondie was not nice and was a stuck-up bitch.
Well, you know how like every story where like someone who's perceived as nice is said to be an asshole, I'm sure there's an equal amount of stories where it's like someone who's a known asshole who is actually nice. The stories about them being nice. So I think it goes tit for tat. It goes one way and the other on that.
I think being nice and like a terrible person are kind of not mutually exclusive. Like, you can be a friendly, nice person and just have the most atrocious shit views imaginable.
Mm-hmm. Like you could have a pleasant run-in with P. Diddy.
Yeah, you could. Awful person. May he burn in hell.
May he burn in hell, but he might have like bumped into you and said, "Oh shit, I'm sorry."
Yeah, he might have been very friendly to interact with. Like, that's why whenever something bad, like somebody does something terrible, and like they interview all these people, and it's like, "Oh, I can't believe it. He was so nice." It's like, yeah, so what?
Right. I'm always like, you know what? I kind of can believe that anyone is possible of anything.
Yeah.
So
like,
I'm not gonna be that asshole that gets on the news like, we had barbecues together. I would have never suspected any of this.
Yeah, anybody can be friendly and cordial and affable and be secretly a monster.
Look at us bringing nuance back to podcast.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to thank Alex Garland for that, because if not for his fence sitting, I wouldn't have become this way.
I do like sitting on the fence. There's a nice little imprint where my butt goes.
Yeah.
And that's where I like to sit on the fence.
So, you know what? Thank you, Alex Garland.
Thank you, Alex Garland.
Thank you for your fence sitting. Your fence sitting is much better than when you beat us over the head with your metaphors.
Yes. I'd rather you sit on the fence than have men birthing other men.
For 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes. You could have just had one man birthing another man, and the metaphor would have landed.
Well, we're not talking about Alex Garland today. We don't have any Alex Garland movies on this wheel, do we?
No Garland on this wheel, but he's got some movies cooking up for 2025 that I'm pretty excited about.
He does. But today we are not discussing Alex Garland. We are discussing Tommy Lee Jones.
TLJ, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
Because we're on we're on abbreviated name basis. He calls me NBC, I call him TLJ.
Yeah. And he doesn't call me at all.
Well, maybe he'll get on the list one day. I met him through Steve.
You know what? He has no time for my shenanigans. I'm too goofy for him. He can't handle it.
He just doesn't have time for the young people anymore.
He has no time for shenanigans. He has a list of people whom he specifically avoids because of the shenanigans. I'm on it along with Jim Carrey and every other person on the planet with a sense of humor.
He's super serious. Speaking of Man of the House, by the way, this is the second hardest movie to Google that we've watched.
What was the first?
Men.
Oh yeah.
Because I was looking for a movie about the terrible things men do, and when you Google men, all you get is the terrible things that men do not in the movies. It
Yeah.
was tough.
How many movies are there with the name Man of the House?
2. So for this one, 1995 and 2005, there were 2 movies.
Oh yeah, the 1995 one has Chevy Chase. So this one has to be at least funnier than that one.
Yeah, and you know it's funny because the first thing you see is the star reviews, and these both have about the same amount of stars. I think the IMDb stars pop up. Maybe if you're going to make a comedy, maybe don't call it Man of the House.
Maybe that's a curse.
Maybe the third time's the charm. So
Maybe.
if you want to do it, I'd say go ahead and do it.
If you were gonna, let's say we're gonna make a new Man of the House. It's 2025. Okay, both of these movies came out in a year with a 5 in it. So if this is the year to do it,
Yeah, we're 20 years removed. We took a break in 2015, thank goodness. I think we all needed a breather.
yeah, we needed a breather from Man of the House. But we're gonna get a new Man of the House this year. Who do you put in it? You think if you're gonna make the first good movie with the title Man of the House?
I think you put Danny McBride in it.
Really?
You make Danny McBride the Man of the House, and I think you do like a cheaper by the dozen. But he's a dad, and he's got 10 kids, and they're all girls, and he's the only man in the house.
Okay, I think we put John Cena in it. He's the Man of
Okay.
the House.
I could see Cena being. You know what? I still want Danny McBride. Make Cena the neighbor.
Make Danny McBride the neighbor.
I'm still on this Danny McBride kick. I want him to be the lead man.
I don't know. I think he'd be better as a
Cena will
neighbor.
put butts in seats, though. See, if this were a TV show, it'd be McBride.
I think you have Cena as the Man of the House, and you have McBride as the neighbor, but you have McBride play against type.
Oh,
He's-
have him play like soft spoken, like really nice guy.
Yeah. You don't have him yell. You don't have him be abrasive. You have him be the straight man.
He doesn't get to say fuck one time in the movie.
No, I think that works.
I'd be interested to see that.
Let's get on it, Hollywood.
Get on it, and then I mean you have endless nepo babies to pick from for all the kids. So go at it, Hollywood. Do what you do best. Raise your own up.
I think it's time. We'll give it some time. We'll let them recover a bit from the fires, and then we'll start sending out cold emails. Are you accepting movie pitches? We got a really good one.
I'm gonna start calling them cold water emails. Hey, just wanted to put this fire out for you. I've got this cold query right here, and then they immediately just delete it. They're like, this fucking asshole. Don't they know what I lost in the fire? Yeah, we were talking about it before show, but yeah, I can't fucking believe people emailing managers, agents like, "Hey, hope you're safe. Did you read my script?" Fucking useless people. No, I didn't
Yeah.
read your shitty fucking script.
Yeah. My
Is
house,
what I hope they all said to those
all my
people.
possessions have been destroyed. My cat has asthma now.
Barky, my dog, had a tail before the fire, no longer has a tail. Fuck
Yeah.
your script.
Yeah, I'm not reading your script about how terrible your life was in high school.
It's your job with a gun? Fuck off.
I mean, that works if you have Jason Statham.
Oh, speaking, I know we're getting distracted. There's another Statham movie trailer that just dropped, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Oh, I'm so ready. I don't care. I know it's not a sequel to The Beekeeper, but in my headcanon, it is a sequel to The Beekeeper. And he plays the same guy.
I saw it and I was like, this kind of feels like it was The Beekeeper. This kind of feels like it should be a Beekeeper. And I say that having not seen The Beekeeper. But then did you also see that there's a Gerard Butler movie coming out this weekend?
Oh yeah, Den of Thieves 2?
The action flicks are back.
Yeah. The B-grade action flicks are back. I haven't seen Den of Thieves 1, but
I hear good things.
yeah, I hear it's like a really trashy version of Heat.
I like trashy and I like heat.
Yeah, and I see like stills of this movie, and it like Gerard Butler looks like he's gonna chug 3 cans of Pepto, and that's my kind of movie, man.
I like Gerard Butler. He's kind of this generation's. We were just talking about him. He's fat now.
Russell Crowe. I mean,
actually.
I don't
Pretty
know.
damn close.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, like Russell Crowe was like an actor One of the best. I don't know if Gerard Butler was ever that.
I liked Gerard. He's got the whatever his action.
Olympus Has Fallen. That's the big one. There's like 3 of those.
He was in 300. Yeah, so the Olympus movies.
Yeah.
Or the Fall. I'm sorry, the Fallen movies. I'm sorry.
That's
They're
right.
not the
Only one is Olympus.
He was in 300.
Yeah.
He was in that movie with Katherine Heigl.
He has like a good action. I don't know if he had, because like I don't know if he has anything comparable to like Russell Crowe, like 95 to 07. Just like banger like movies, incredible performances. But he's like a solid like B movie guy.
He was in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh wow. I did not know that.
He was in Tomorrow Never Dies, Phantom of the Opera. He was the Phantom. He disappeared behind that mask.
I know he was in
Yes, I
Phantom.
Love You. The Ugly Truth is the movie I was thinking of. He's like there. Does he play like a talking? Yeah, so like Katherine Heigl's like a news reporter, and he's like he does the session. He's like their reoccurring consultant on love, and he gets on and does love stuff. He was in Gamer.
Yeah, that's a good one. But again, like
Law-Abiding Citizen.
Like, he's got some good like movies, but I don't know if he has anything as good as like Russell Crowe. I wouldn't.
Machine Gun Preacher. Hello.
I wouldn't put him at that level.
Olympus. How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. You know what? It feels like he went away for a while, but he's actually never left our side.
Yeah, but he's back now. He's a big B movie guy now. I watched Plane not too long ago, like maybe last, I don't know, spring or something. That's a movie that's got to go on the wheel.
I heard good things about Plane.
Plane is good. They're making a sequel, but he's not in it.
Did he die at the end of Plane?
No, but it's like he's a pilot. The sequel's called Ship. I guess it's about a ship. I think he's producing it. I think he might. I don't know if he'll make a cameo or whatever, but because Plane is him and Luke Cage is in it, Mike Coulter, and he's returning for Ship. He's gonna be the main character.
And then by the end of Ship, you find out that Ambulance is in the same universe.
Oh, that would be amazing.
How they retroactively make Ambulance a good movie. They're like, it was part of the extended universe.
It's always been a good movie. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Sure it is.
You'll see. One day you'll see. You'll watch it on your couch and be like, I was wrong.
When was the first Den of Thieves? 2018? Yeah, he's been a busy dude. He's been a very busy dude.
But enough about Gerard Butler. I'm sure we'll talk about him many times in the future on this podcast. Not this season, but many times in the future.
He'll get his time. He'll get his time. Do you want me to? So, Man of the House. Do you want me to read? I've got the Wikipedia article up.
Yes, please.
Man of the House is a 2005, not the 1995, American crime comedy film directed by Stephen Herrick. Film stars Tommy Lee Jones as Roland Sharp, a lonesome Texas Ranger who goes undercover as an assistant coach to protect a group of college cheerleaders who have witnessed a murder. Much of the film was shot in Austin, Texas, on the University of Texas campus. I'm going to read the second paragraph just because I think it's worth pointing out. Texas Governor Rick Perry has a cameo appearance in the film as himself. Released on February 25th, 2005, film received negative reviews and grossed just $21 million against a budget of $40 million, making it a box office disappointment.
Before we get into it and do, our Letterboxd reviews and then talk about the movie and whatever, I just want to have a little, not necessarily your power. I just want to ask you, because when you first watched this, you posted, now watching Man of the House. And I noticed the replies were quite a few people saying that they loved this movie. And when I posted that I was now watching Man in the House, I also had a couple of responses saying that they liked this movie. So is it us? Is the problem us?
I think everyone who saw this movie, who was responding to us saying we were watching this movie, probably saw this movie when they were a kid.
Oh, maybe.
And probably just hold it. They're like, oh, yeah, I saw it. Oh, I mean, the one person who said that they liked it in my feed is from Austin. This has ties to Austin. So it's like, yeah, of course they fucking like this movie.
I will say,
I get that. There are parts of Identity Thief that I like because they're set in St. Louis. Identity Thief's not a good movie, but I do like the St. Louis parts.
I mean, like, I will admit, I don't hate this movie, but I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, I love this movie or even I like this movie.
Yeah, I'm not jumping in someone's timeline to be like, hey, man, this movie's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to praise it.
Yeah, if someone was telling me, "Oh, I'm about to watch Man in the House. What do you think?" I'd just be like, I mean, you could do worse."
But yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, do you like the Texas Longhorns?
It's like there's worse ways to like. It's not a. There's worse ways to spend your time. It's okay. What's your Letterboxd review? I got mine here.
So I've got one from Jacob McLean, who is a pro letterboxer. I guess that means he's professional and he gets paid to letterbox. That's what I'm guessing that means. He gave the movie 1 star, and all he wrote was IMDb trivia. The pistol used by Tommy Lee Jones is not a prop. It is his own Colt 1911 that he brought to the set after refusing to use the prop gun. To which I was like, this can't, like, I think he's, maybe this guy's a goof and that's what he does. He does fake IMDb for his reviews. I hopped over to IMDb. It's also over there.
Wow.
I couldn't, I'm still trying to confirm it, but I mean, I've seen it in multiple places now, and it either appears to be real or it appears to be a thing that's been repeated so much that everyone just accepts it as real.
I would like to hope it's real because I would like to imagine the conversation between Tommy Lee Jones and the prop department where he insists, "No, I'm bringing my own gun."
It looks like a real gun. I went back and watched it, and it's funny because you have that, and then you have the gun that the Razorbacks mascot pulls out that obviously is a prop gun.
I just would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. All right, here's your prop gun, Mr. Jones. I don't think so. I'm using this one. Well, who gave you that one? I brought it from home. It's my gun.
And then, 17 short years later on the set of Rust, the man was allowed to bring a real gun on set. That's just fucking...
That's insane. That's insane.
How has that not come up?
Oh,
how has that not been a thing? Like, I'm not a fan of, like, we need to bring old shit up and hold people accountable. But I'm like, no, man, Tommy, that's fucked up. I'd feel more safe if I brought my real gun on set. Got all these girls running around in their skimpy under arrangements. I just don't feel safe if I don't have my Colt 1911.
There's too many shenanigans on this set, and I need to defend myself.
Bunch of loose women on this set. I'm scared for my life.
Okay.
They're saying hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns. I don't play like that.
I do not feel safe on this. Shea Wiggum disappeared. Okay, he's gone. He was in the movie. He's not here anymore. Does anybody know where he went? I don't think so. I'm bringing my gun.
And he's like, you know why I didn't disappear off that set? Because I brought my gun.
All right,
he's gone. I'm not.
My review comes to us from Hunter McCanns, who is also a pro Letterboxd user. Good for you, Hunter, being paid to Letterboxd. He gave this movie a 2.5 stars out of 5 with a heart and wrote, "Just want to know who at Arkansas approved their mascot being shown pulling out an SMG at a Texas football game."
They don't work there anymore.
Oh, just one person.
They don't.
Just one person. They got on the phone. Hey, we just like your approval. Do you mind if your mascot is shown pulling out an Uzi at a Texas game? Yeah, sure, whatever. Then everybody else.
We're gonna change them anyway.
Everybody else at Arkansas saw the movie. Who approved this? It was Jenkins, sir.
The president of the university is like at home with his family, and his kids are like, "Can we watch Man of the House?" He's like, "Sure, honey, let's watch it." And they're watching it, and he's like, "That's our mascot. Look at him go!" And he pulls. Wait a minute, he doesn't do that for real. Oh my God, who approved this?
Just entire departments were fired.
And then he's tackled, and the character in the mask, it was a joke. What was the joke? You're gonna scare the crowd into believing you were gonna shoot them.
I don't know. It was a squirt gun, right? Was he gonna is the joke he was gonna squirt them with water? Like, is that a joke?
I'm a mascot. I do crazy, wacky things. When I go to St. Louis Cardinal games, I really love it when Fred Bird pulls out his Uzi and just fucks everybody up.
Oh yeah,
there's an old action movie where they're like in a hockey rink and the terrorists have taken it. And I think the mascot is a polar bear, and he's got an Uzi, and it reminded me of that.
I don't know
the name of the. Save My Life. If anyone listening knows the name of that movie, help me out. I've been struggling.
When you say
No,
action
it's a
movie,
penguin.
what?
Penguin.
Penguin?
The mascot is a penguin
Oh,
that I'm thinking of.
oh. See, when you say action movie where terrorists have taken over a hockey arena, all I can picture is Michael Scott's student film.
And I think of that every time. Yeah, I think of that movie every time I watch that episode.
Oh, what is that? What is the name of his movie?
Oh, that's Michael Scarn. Michael Scarn.
Yeah, Michael Scarn, Agent
the
Michael
movie,
Scarn. But I don't remember what the movie's called. But when you
What
say
is the name of it?
when you say-
Threat Level Midnight.
that's it. That's when you say terrorists have taken over a hockey arena. All I think about is him and Jim skating and shooting double pistols at each other, point blank and missing.
And there are like people skating in the background who are just trying to use the skate rink while they're shooting this movie.
yeah. And like they both start trying to do trick shots, and they're like 2 feet away from each other with dual pistols, and neither of them can hit each other. Jim's in like a leotard.
It is one of it. Jim's in a leotard. His face is painted gold.
Yeah, he's golden
Oh,
face.
I think I found the name for this hockey movie.
Oh,
I think I found the name for this movie.
what is it? Is Steven Seagal
Are you ready for
in
this?
it?
Sudden death. A former fireman takes on a group of terrorists holding the vice president and others hostage during the 7th game of the NHL Stanley Cup
Oh
Finals.
my God, Van Damme is in this movie. Why have I never heard of this?
Oh, this is amazing.
Oh, this is going on a wheel.
Terror goes on.
Oh, this is going on a future wheel.
Terror goes into overtime, says the box I'm looking at of it.
Oh my God, this is going in. This is going.
Sudden death.
I'm putting this on the list immediately. This is incredible.
I might watch this tonight. I'm supposed to watch Nora, but I might just watch this. The trailer on IMDb is a TV spot for the VHS. That's how old this movie. That's how obscure this movie is.
Sudden Death. I'm putting it right on the list for future wheels. It's right underneath Sudden Impact, which I think is also a Van Damme movie.
Oh man, so many memories of this movie just ran back. Oh my, this is
Oh,
this is gonna be so good and bad at the same time. I can't
incredible.
wait.
I just watched a movie last year with Dave Bautista where terrorists take over like a soccer arena during a soccer game. They gotta make more movies where terrorists attack a sporting event.
I would like one where a terrorist takes over like not a marathon. You can't do a marathon anymore, but like a cross country meet, and we'll call it Mile Split.
Yeah,
Hockey just has really good names.
the Batista one I watched.
What's another sporting event?
The Batista one I watched was they didn't take it. No, they didn't take it over. But they were plotting something, and he had to kill them all while the game was still happening. So the game was on, like the soccer game was on, and everyone was watching it, and he's just like up in the rafters, like killing terrorists.
This sounds good. But now I really want to watch Sudden Death. But we should really get back to Man of the House, no matter how much we don't want to.
I don't even not want to. It's just there's not that much to talk about. But let's get to it.
I can start with the sandwich. So the movie was shot on location in Austin, Texas. If you've been to Austin, you see him on 6th Street. You see him around the UT campus. Really cool to see a movie shot on location because it feels like that's becoming less and less common this day and age.
Yeah,
and then just the fact they had the audacity to get the rights to using stuff from the University of Texas along with Arkansas and everything they did with them. And the premise is a fun little premise.
it's a fun little premise. This is a small note, but I'll start off with it. And I just really appreciate how in 2005, even a silly comedy like this flipped a bus over for real for their movie. Because they were like, we're making a movie. We're going to flip this bus over. And that's something movies don't do anymore. Even big budget movies will not flip a real bus. They will flip a blue cube and turn it into a bus in post.
And it never looks the same. It never looks right.
No. Flip a real bus.
No matter how hard
people.
they try.
Flip a real bus.
You're spending $40 million on your movie. You better flip a fucking bus.
Yeah, come on.
The other thing I really liked, and I'm gonna sound like a prude for this, but this was coming out in an era where like nudity in comedies was rampant. No Bible study was safe. You had 40-Year-Old Virgin, you had Wedding Crashers at this time. Given the premise, you would think, oh, this is going to be one of those skimpy movies. No, they pulled off a PG-13 somehow.
You know what? Tommy Lee Jones' character in this is very adamant about them covering up.
Cover up your lady bits. Yeah, I do like him pulling out the chart, or they pull out the dummies. I want you to cover this, cover a little more thighs, and cover the belly buttons.
I like how
they try to negotiate.
Yeah, they're
negotiating out.
They're negotiating like we need to have this out, and he's like, "How about this much?" No.
And it's a movie very much in its time. Like you can watch this movie and get a sense of how people were dressing in 2005.
Yeah.
I always like that about comedies. A little window in time of like what people were doing.
I like to just back on like the skimpiness thing. I like how one of the things he does is like he installs an air conditioning and just blasts it so they have to wear winter attire.
And it's an industrial sized air conditioning unit.
Yeah, he
ends up spending like $7,000 of the unit's money.
Yeah, just $7,000 of the fucking Texas Rangers money. So just to make a point that they have to cover up.
I mean, for that size air conditioner, I think he got that at a steal. I want to know his AC guy.
Well, this was before Joe Biden ruined the economy.
I'm putting a Joe Biden sticker on everything. I put a Joe Biden sticker on a carton of eggs the other day. Spent $12 on an egg. Not $12 on eggs. $12 on an egg the other day.
That's Joe Biden's America. But you know what? It's okay. Now that Donald Trump is president, eggs are going to go down to $1 a carton.
I did like hey, economics, right? All right.
That's
had to get a dad
slapper.
Joke in there. I did like all the characters, for the most part, all the characters in this. It didn't like Tommy Lee Jones is like running the show. He's very dry, very like cover your lady bits, all that kind of stuff. But it didn't feel like, and everyone else was younger in this, but it didn't feel like there was like someone who's like egregiously bad.
Yeah.
Usually in these movies you have like that one standout that's like, get her or get him off of the camera. I don't want this character here anymore. Everyone is tolerable.
Yeah, and I mean, like my biggest up is just anytime Tommy Lee Jones spoke, I think this is not a great movie, but it's not a complete waste of time just for his just deadpan performance. Just a completely unfunny, serious man. And they all play off of each other very well. Like, I mean, I'll get into this more when we go into our dislikes in terms of like all the cheerleaders. But when you watch Man of the House, you're going into Man of the House to watch Tommy Lee Jones, react to cheerleader tomfoolery, and that's what you get here. And you're right.
Do you want to get into the negatives? Because I've got a long laundry list.
You have a long list? I don't even have that long. I couldn't even come up with that many dislikes. This movie's just so there. This is a movie that just this of all the movies that have ever been made, this is one of them.
It's a movie. It feels like a movie. No, a lot of my stuff probably would go back to the script. A lot of my negatives. The pacing just feels weird.
I think
the jokes could use a punch up.
I think what this movie does well is Tommy Lee Jones, and the cheerleaders are fine in that they give him a lot to react to, and none of them are egregiously bad. Like he plays off of them well, and they play off of him well. But the problem I have with the cheerleaders is that there's no like, I don't know, like how there's what, like 6 of them or 7 of them or something. I don't even know.
There's only 5.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See, this is the problem. I don't even know how many there are because they play, and they're there to play off Tommy Lee Jones and for him to react to their, shenanigans. But like, I don't really like. There's none of them that I can really get attached to as a character or care about. Like, there's no main cheerleader even, where there's like, because usually in these types of movies, there's like one that's like the main one that has like their own little subplot or character arc or whatever. And then you have the other ones that are kind of there to just, play off of each other and whatever. And there isn't one here. There's,
They try to do it, but they do it so poor. So I think they wanted to do it with Barb.
yeah, like
And so Barb's like the smart one who introduces him to the teacher who he eventually falls in love with.
I
And
don't know.
It's almost like a father-daughter thing, but then there's weird moments where she wants to sleep with him.
Well, here's the thing. And first of all, okay, I remember you messaged me that when we were talking about this, you messaged me that Barb was, and I was like, which one's Barb? Because I messaged you, I was like, this movie could have used like an Anna Faris, right? Like, and you messaged me, well, they tried to do that with
Right.
Barb, and I'm like, which one's Barb? And you're like, she's the smart one. And then I kept watching the movie, and then I realized Barb is not the smart one. The other blonde is the smart one.
I could have sworn Barb was, because he
No.
goes to class with Barb, who was concerned about going to class. And then Barb was also the one when they're sitting at the table talking about virginity. And everyone's like, I'm not. And Barb's like, I am. And she like looks back at him and winks. She mouths it. At
Yeah,
him.
no, but
I'm pretty sure.
she was not the smart one. Barb was the dumb one. The other blonde, who has almost nothing to do in this movie, was the one with the 4.0 GPA or whatever. Barb is the dumb one. She was like she was about to fail that class or something.
So I mixed up my blondes. I apologize to all the blondes listening.
But like, this is the problem, right? Like, and I mixed them up too. Because I didn't know. Like, you were like Barb. I was like, which one's Barb? I didn't even know. And this is the problem. Like, there's no, like they're kind of just there. None of them really have anything.
Right.
Like, none of them really have distinctive features, and there's no main cheerleader that you can be like, okay, like the other cheerleaders are just there for the comedy or whatever, and then this is the cheerleader that has a plot, that has a character arc. But there isn't one of those. And you're right, they try to do it with Barb, and this is kind of a segue to my other negative, is that like Barb is a victim of this movie's biggest problem, which is that it introduces a bunch of subplots that just go nowhere or gets like dropped immediately. So like, he goes to class with Barb, and then it kind of sets up that he's gonna like help her with her schoolwork or whatever, and then that just never, like, it just stops. Like, that just doesn't ever happen. And then there's kind of this subplot where she kind of wants to sleep with him, and then that's like mentioned maybe like 2 times or whatever, and it just doesn't go anywhere. There's no like, it's so like, there's just kind of nothing there.
Yeah, it feels like someone was hired to write Tommy Lee Jones' part, and they're like, all right, just make this very, very dry, make him very matter of fact, and then they hired someone else and said, I don't know, just write a bunch of girls.
Yeah,
hired someone else to do that part,
and
it just it feels bad.
Yeah, and
because
like,
then you have these 4 other girls who have nothing to do, who are doing basically nothing the entire movie.
They have nothing to do, and this is what I mean when I say like this movie could use like an Anna Faris. And I'm not even necessarily saying like, oh, replace one of these girls with Anna Faris because they're not good. Like, all of these girls are fine, but like, it needs that like Anna Faris like anchor to anchor the rest of them, and there just isn't one. And so they're just cheerleaders that kind of like, that don't have any distinctive features, except I guess for Barb, who has a bunch of subplots that don't go anywhere.
Yeah, and I think the movie is leaning just a little too heavy on the surrogate father kind of aspect of it, of like, oh, he's playing dad to them, and I think they hope that you like them in junction with that, like, oh, Tommy Lee Jones is warming up to them, so now we like them, instead of like actually giving them things to do on their own.
Yeah, and I think
I also don't really like I think the setup was like really poorly done as well. I didn't. I'm not one of those mouth breathers that need everything. They saw the murder, but they didn't see the murder that they could have identified him. But we still need to protect them. Just like, you could just like, I don't know, like have only one of them see it, but they refuse to leave the house. So then Tommy Lee Jones has to. I don't know. I just thought the setup was really weird.
Yeah, and there's so many other ways you can there's so many other ways you can like justify them needing a ranger protecting them. Because like
Right, you could
they look out the window, because the setup is that they're looking out the window and they see that a guy gets shot, but they don't really see who did it. So like they don't know anything really that would put them in danger. And so there's so many ways you can have, like, there's so many situations you can put them in that justifies them needing protection. Like there's thousands of episodes of like cop shows that have similar plots that you can create. I think of a movie like Kindergarten Cop, and that has a really solid reason for putting him in a kindergarten classroom.
Yeah. Right.
And this, I'm like, do they? And again, we're not those people who are like really sticklers for like, do they? Oh, this doesn't. Cinema sins plot hole, blah 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 blah. This isn't how witness protection works or whatever. But I look at this, I'm like, do they really need protection? They don't know anything. They can't identify anybody.
Well, and my thought is the way you fix it. They still see everything the way they see it. Cops bring them in for questioning. They're like, we didn't see anything, and then they all go home, and either one of them dies or they get like a threatening note that says, if you talk, I'll kill you. And then that way, it's like, okay, someone is threatening them. Someone thinks they saw something. Now we need to protect them.
Yeah, or not even a threatening note. Like, have like someone take a swipe at them first to be like, oh, so they're trying to kill us now because we know something. Like, but it's just like, okay, they saw the murder, but they don't really know anything. But let's just give them protection anyway.
I also think you need to have like a secondary villain that's tied to the school somehow. Like, I know the FBI agent is like the bad guy. But I mean, and maybe movies have broken me, but the teacher that Tommy Lee Jones is into, like, part of me was like, I kind of want her to like show up and kiss this FBI agent and be like, I've been with him all along, or something stupid like that. Some last minute betrayal just to make it a little more interesting.
I'm glad that you mentioned the teacher that Tommy Lee Jones is into, because this is my biggest problem with this movie, is that there's like, you have the main plot, obviously, which is him protecting these cheerleaders and, whatever. And the movie throws in a bunch of, like, subplots that are kind of actually interesting and just doesn't do anything with them. So, like, this teacher that Tommy Lee Jones is into, like, he sits in on Barb's class or whatever because she's, like, has to... I guess he was sitting on her class because, like, he's protecting her or whatever. And, you see he's he's infatuated with this teacher. And they have a little romance subplot going that is just, like, 2 scenes. And I'm like, that's cute. Like, put that in more of the movie. Or, and, they set up that maybe he'll help Barb, improve at her schoolwork. And then that just never happens. And
that sucks because he has a stalled relationship with his daughter, who's played by Shannon Mary Woodward. So you would think, oh, like his relationship with her is kind of in a pickle because of his divorce or his last relationship, and now he sees Barb and he sees a chance to like make right. His daughter's like right down the street.
Yeah, but I'm just like this. Like it sets up a lot of interesting subplots. And just doesn't do anything with them. And I'm like, oh, I would like to see more of his little romance subplot with the English professor. That's cute. I would like to see this subplot that they set up of him, helping Barb with her fucking schoolwork. But all that amounts to is he reads her report and says, this is really good. Like, I would, and like there's other subplots like set up, like there's smaller subplots set up with some of the other cheerleaders too that like never really go anywhere either. And it's just like, you're setting all these things up that are more interesting than anything else that's really happening in your movie. And you're just not following through on any of them. And that really annoys me.
And then you're taking time away from the movie to go focus on these other, I guess they're deputies or the rangers, that are there 1 minute to make a joke and then they're gone and then they just completely disappear after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like there's even
what are we doing?
There's even like Shea Wiggum, which love to see him pop up in any movie. He plays one of these deputies, and it's kind of set up that like there's one scene where he's kind of like, I guess, like flirting with one of these cheerleaders. I'm like, okay, maybe that's an interesting subplot, and then that just doesn't go anywhere, and then he disappears. It's like this is a movie full this. And maybe this ties into the fact that they're kind of like not leaning into the sexuality of these of these hot women, but like this is kind of blue balls of the movie because it sets up so many interesting things and just nothing happens then. So like I'm gearing up for these subplots that just don't resolve themselves.
Matt demands the R-rated cut of this movie that never saw the light of day be released.
Basically, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Put it out. Put it out. Freaking Stephen Herrick had a vision. Put his vision out. You cowards.
Release the Herrick cut.
What has Herrick directed since then? Nothing too out in the public eye. Anything on the TV side? Nah, not really either.
What did he direct before this?
Before this, the 101 Dalmatians movie back in '96. That pretty good movie. He directed the first Mighty Ducks movie in '92. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
He directed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Yep. Don't Tell Mom and Dad the Babysitter's Dead.
My
he also
God.
wrote and directed Critters.
Okay, well he gets a pass for life for doing Bill and Ted.
Well, and put out the man of that. Put his cut of Man of the House out. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, he did the Dead Like Me movie also. Okay, so he's had some stuff. Still steadily working. Good for him. And then my last real beef is like the way the movie shoots action. Like, yes, I love the flipping buses. I like the practical effects. You can cut to other angles. You don't have to do the two screens in a black void with things going on.
You didn't like the 24 style split screen?
No, I hated the split screen. It was awful. It was terrible. And that's why I think this movie's like just got an identity crisis a little bit, because the action is shot really well and then the comedy's really bad. So it's like, if you want to be an action movie, just be an action movie. Like, lean into the action aspects of it, of the dialogue as well. If you want to be a bad comedy movie, be a bad comedy. It just felt like a Frankenstein of all these things.
I'm bringing it up again because it's just a great parallel. But Kindergarten Cop, the first like 10 minutes of Kindergarten Cop are a really decent action movie, like a really decent grubby Arnold 80s action movie, and then it becomes like a really good little comedy, and then it goes back to like a really good action movie, and like this kind of wants to do that, but it's bad at everything.
I wanted to care about more people than Tommy Lee Jones, and I didn't.
Yeah, but
maybe a little bit about Barb, but not too much.
Do you have anything else nice to say?
I liked at one point Tommy Lee Jones' character says, "I don't know what's going on," and I kind of related to him in that moment.
I don't know. I like when he beat up those guys in the bar. That was fun.
That was fun. Bros in the bar could use a beating, especially in 2025 like that.
Yeah, but again, that scene comes out of nowhere.
Guys were complaining. Those guys were complaining about him later on at the mothership.
Yeah, that's a fun scene. But again, it's one of those scenes that's like, that could have been great if it was like set up with like if that was like the climax to a subplot. But it's just like a scene that they throw in there. Oh, they left. They got out of the house and they're at a bar now.
Right. We completely glazed over it, but Cedric the Entertainer's in this movie, and he's not good.
Yeah, I saw him on the cast because I was like, oh, how bad could this movie be? And he's in it for like 3 scenes, and they're really annoying.
Yeah, it's like, why are we, like, the least we do with him, the better. Like, he puts a cell phone in a cow's ass.
Or the cell phone's already in the cow's. Yeah,
it's already in it. It's just like, what are we doing? Cedric, you're above this.
I think the nicest thing I can say about this movie is that it's bad, but it's bad, but it's not gonna win. Fuck, I had the perfect wording for it before we started recording, and I completely lost it.
I think you summed it up really well earlier. It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a movie. There's listen, we watched Megalopolis last week.
This is 10 times better than Megalopolis.
Yeah, this is not a good movie, at all. And I wouldn't really recommend someone watch it. But if someone was going to tell me, I'm watching Man of the House tonight, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. Sounds like a chill evening. I'm going to be honest, if we weren't doing this for a podcast and I wrote down notes, I probably would have forgotten everything about this movie the next day. And it's fine. It exists. It's not good, but it's it's whatever. There's worse things to watch. It's not atrocious. Like, if you watch this, it's not a good movie, but you're not going to feel like, oh, what a piece of shit waste of time that was. Like, it's whatever.
This feels like the power went out. Where are my DVDs? Oh, Man of the House. I don't remember this one. I'm putting this DVD in, and you're not completely mad about it.
Yeah, this is like
this is a catch it on the Disney Channel when you're a kid and watch it and think it's really good type of movie.
Yeah, it's like it's Friday night. You've sat down with your nice pizza with jalapenos, and you're browsing the channels, you're browsing Netflix or whatever. You're like, I got to pick something before my pizza gets cold. You pick Man of the House. It's fine. There's worse ways to spend like a Friday night.
Right. What do you rank it, or what do you rate it?
I give it a 2.5 out of 5.
I'm just gonna give it an even 2.
Nice. I have dad movie. I mean, I don't know. It's got Tommy Lee Jones and hot cheerleaders.
It's got Tommy Lee Jones. It's got football. Hot cheerleaders. I'm gonna give it like a 60.
Yeah.
I think it's 60%. It's kind of like what we were saying. Like, it's a movie where you catch it midway through on a Friday night. You ain't got shit to do. You're not really precious about your time. You probably sit down.
Yeah, if it was like it's an hour and I think it's an hour and like 40 minutes or 45 minutes or something. If it was like an hour 30, maybe I'd give it a 70. But I'll go along with that 60.
Which you could get it to an hour 30 if you cut Cedric and the other Rangers out.
Yeah, you could.
I did the math. It could happen.
All right, so 60%. 60% dad
60.
certified.
60.
Not
almost right down the middle.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Now it's time for my my favorite segment, the Negative Nancy of the week. This is the IMDb goof. These are the goofs that go into IMDb goofs and waste their time and write what they found wrong with the movie when they could have just, not done that. I've got one right here, which this one needs more downvotes. When Heather is talking to Sharp, she says that Full Metal Jacket is her favorite movie, but goofs on where Private Joker's Born to Kill and his peace symbol are located. She claims there is one on each side of his helmet. In reality, the Born to Kill is on the front of his helmet, while the peace symbol is a pin on his collar. People get things wrong. Characters can get things wrong too, guy.
Yeah, they're only human. They're supposed to be human. What's wrong with you people?
And I completely forgot that was a scene because of this movie. I also, real quick, I pulled a fun fact that I found on the trivia page for this movie. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, of course he fucking was. Quentin Tarantino paid a visit to set during filming at the stadium at the university.
I wonder how that visit was. What went on?
He goes up. He's on set. He's like, hey, Steven, where are the feet?
Where are the feet? Steven, you got a great premise here. Hot cheerleaders. But let me ask you, where are the feet?
You got these beautiful girls. Where are the toes? Where are the toes? He becomes Jerry Stiller's creepy dad character from The Heartbreak Kid.
Oh my God.
When you have beautiful women on the set, you make them take their shoes off.
Close-ups, man. Close-ups.
Come on. Get in there. I want to see the lint between their toes. Oh, Quentin. My favorite weirdo.
Oh, Quentin. Right in a movie where Salma Hayek pours tequila down your throat with her foot.
We have to do it. We have to do it according to the script. God damn it! Like, we think we should. Someone comes up. Well, we should cut this scene. He's like, no. If you cut this scene, we have to cut 10 other scenes. We're doing the foot tequila shot.
That's the money shot of the movie. It's the thing everybody's gonna remember. Trust me.
He gets pissed. She shows up with like fungus on her foot one day. He's like, no, we'll put it back a week. we're shooting the scene. I will have this scene shot.
Quentin, this delay is gonna up the budget by $15,000 for every day that it's delayed. We can just cut it. It has no.
He starts writing a check.
Here, I will pay out of my personal bank account. This scene is remaining in the picture.
He comes by it honestly.
I think the most definitive thing we can say about Man in the House is that I feel like we spent most of this episode talking about other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why he canned the critic. You know why Tarantino shelved the critic and he's not doing it anymore, right?
Why?
He couldn't find a way to write it. He couldn't find a way to write a scene in it where he has someone put their foot in his mouth. So he had to go back to the drawing board. Poor guy.
All right, here's my IMDb goof.
Do you have your negative Nancy, by the way?
I do have my negative Nancy. When the score of the game is shown, it says Texas 14, Arkansas 0. Arkansas won the game 38-28 and were never behind 14-0. The only Texas lead was 7-0 after their first possession. I think if you know the exact score of the game they don't specify in the movie, you're a fucking nerd and you should really consider not projecting that information.
Yeah, sport nerds are the new nerds and we all hate them. I do find it funny timeline wise. This lines up with right around the time Texas started to not be good, and now as we're recording this, they're likely getting ready to be playing for a championship. I
love the notion of a sports fan, of a college football fan watching this movie and doing the math in their head. Okay, this movie came out in 2005. That means they filmed it in 2003, 2004. So within those years, I have to think about, okay, these were the Arkansas-Texas games that happened within those years. This is probably the one that they filmed it on, and that's what the score was. So they got it wrong. Like the mental gymnastics that you have to go through to remember that, to know that information. Get a life, man.
I will say this is one of the more fun movies to read like the trivia about. Just between that Tarantino thing, the Hex thing that they go to, that's like a pep rally in the middle of the movie, was actually a real thing for a while, and like reading a little bit of the history of that was really cool. So it was really cool to see like the Austin side of it through all that trivia stuff.
Yeah, I think I read in trivia that this was like the first movie that like the University of Texas like let them like use like the logo and everything.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah, because schools are really weird about their shit. They're really protective.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other movies where like logos, especially like in a sports setting or like sports involved, where those properties are being used. Like, you know, you watch a movie like Good Will Hunting. I think there's like some MIT like logos or stuff or whatever. But yeah, nice little fun fact movie. If you find yourself reading fun facts on IMDb, maybe stop over at Man of the House.
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, like you could do worse.
Right. Matt, you've been on a roll with your dad jokes. I'm kind of excited to hear your dad joke tonight.
Have I been on a roll? I feel like you've reacted to all of them with scorn.
That's a dad joke roll right there.
All right. You know, normally I have popcorn when I watch movies, but for this one, I had some Cheerios.
Boo. Boo. Another fun fact, the movie was originally entitled Cheer Up, which would have been pretty funny. I've got one. Someone told me Cedric the Entertainer was in this, but he's more like Cedric not the Entertainer.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, I know.
Boo. What, did you just think of that right before I hit the record button?
No, this is like the first thing I wrote down. I wrote this down as I was watching the movie.
Wow. During the opening credits, Cedric the Entertainer's. Here's my joke.
My second favorite movie, featuring Tommy Lee Jones at the Mexican border. He'd be in that other one like 2 years later, which is shocking. It's shocking to me that No Country for Old Men wasn't out yet, but time's weird. Oh, and I forgot to say this in negatives, but the needle drops in this movie were all over the fucking place. The movie didn't know what year it wanted to be set in. That drove me nuts. They'd have something modern, and then they'd play like.
Well, they need music that they needed music that like the cheerleaders would like listen or dance to, but then they would also need music that Tommy Lee Jones fans would know.
True, but like they would play some girly bop from the '80s that these girls would not have been listening to in 2005. I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Just play some Avril Lavigne, maybe some Hoobastank, maybe some Jimmy Eat World. Like, can we get some consistency on these needle drops?
I think this movie should have been a sequel to The Fugitive, where he plays the same character and you can have a Harrison Ford cameo. Get them both in there.
Give me my daughter back. Matt, are you ready to pull up the wheel?
I am ready to pull up the wheel.
I want to watch it spin if you don't mind. It comforts me.
All right, I will absolutely let you watch it spin. The listeners, however, cannot watch it spin because they are listeners, not watchers. Also, we don't do this live, and we do it weeks ahead of time, so it would be useless. But they also can't hear it, so I will do the sound effects.
If they gave me money, if they gave me money, I would do it live. But they're not giving me money, so
Yeah.
spin that wheel.
All right. Is there anything you're hoping that the wheel lands on?
I'm sorry, I saw an inconsistency in the wheel.
Oh, I didn't think you'd notice.
You know, I like the nice guys. The beekeeper would also be a good one. Just spin the wheel.
Uh,
It backfired.
oh no!
Backfired.
Just so everybody knows what we're laughing at. I edited the wheel to give the beekeeper an Let me see what it was. I gave I edited the wheel so the beekeeper has 3 times as big of a chance to win. So it's like a giant square. It's a giant pie slice on this wheel, and unfortunately, the wheel landed on the thing that was right next to the beekeeper, licorice pizza.
I fucking love it.
I'm not changing
That's
that.
great.
I'm not changing that. I'm keeping the beekeeper. I'm keeping the beekeeper at 16% until it lands on it.
While you're at it, add the percentage from licorice pizza that just disappeared.
Oh, that's an extra 5%. Okay. Every time it
I
doesn't
just want
land
to
on,
watch it.
every time it doesn't land on the beekeeper, I'm gonna make it bigger.
The funny thing would be that the beekeeper ends up being the last movie.
Oh, I was really hoping it landed on the beekeeper today because of that new Jason Statham trailer. I'm so hyped. He plays another guy with a manual labor job who turns out to be an Uber mercenary. What a blessed
Now I really want to
genre.
watch Beekeeper.
We can just watch it. I can put licorice pizza back on the wheel.
No, we have to. Son of the wheel, son of wheel, must be
Okay.
abided by.
All right. Well, it's got to land on Beekeeper. Every time it doesn't land on Beekeeper, I'm going to make the Beekeeper tile bigger.
This is the first time you've done this, right? For anything,
Yes.
has our wheel spins have been on the up and up, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done this to the wheel.
This is a dark time for the show. This is a real dark time.
Oh, I don't know. You seem to enjoy it.
That was good. That was it was one of those things where like I blinked and I was like, I was just staring at the wheel and then I looked at I was like, wait, this is what? And then I just had to laugh. I couldn't not laugh.
Well, we're watching Licorice Pizza. Is this on any streaming services?
I think I saw it on one. Let me pull it up. Hey, I think this is our first coming of age movie.
It is.
Is this because this is creepy because she's a teacher and he's a young lad, right?
Yes. Let's see. Is this on any
That's what
streaming services? It is.
This is on, let's see.
It is on
It is
Amazon
not
Prime.
in the States,
Oh.
but you can pay $4 on Amazon Prime. You can pay $4 on Apple TV. If you have the Hoopla app, I've been using Hoopla. That's how I watched Man of the House.
Oh, nice.
Hoopla's got movies.
Yes, I watched A Different Man on Hoopla just the other day.
It's been nice. It's been nice having the library in my pocket.
If you're in Canada, you can watch this movie on Crave or on Amazon Prime.
Licorice
Pizza.
Bizarre.
I gotta tell you, I've avoided watching this movie because I hate the title.
Yeah, I don't get it.
First of all, I love pizza. I despise licorice with a passion. I hate it. I hate all flavors of licorice. I think it's disgusting. So to sully a pizza with licorice really pisses me off. It's very off-putting, but now I have to watch this movie.
It looks like it is not. Let me filter this format. Nope, not on Hoopla. Sorry to say, at least at my library.
Oh,
Looks like I'm paying for this one.
How much is it to rent?
Let me see what $4.
You can do worse. Of course, there's always other ways to watch movies.
Hey, if we get The Beekeeper next week, it is on multiple streamers. So here we go.
God, imagine if
But so far,
as the Beekeeper gets bigger, it just continually doesn't get landed on.
yeah, I'm expecting that. I'm expecting it to be the last movie of the wheel. By the way, now that we're 5 movies into the wheel, I gotta say this wheel's kind of been lacking.
I think I don't think the wheel in general is lacking. I think what's happened is that we got all the bad movies up top. Because, like, if you look at the rest of the wheel, it's pretty good. We just got unlucky that it landed on like the 3 stinkers, like right up front. Because what do we got left on the wheel? We got Snake Eyes, Prey, Predator double feature.
There's good stuff. I'm just worried that we're gonna land on something that we're both like, oh, this is a great movie, and then it's gonna be It Follows all over again for me, where it's like, oh wow, this was great when I was 20. Now I'm not feeling it anymore.
Wasn't that Heartbreak Kid? Didn't that already happen?
For Heartbreak Kid, yeah. I'm just worried that, like, part of me's kind of worried, like, what if Nice Guys doesn't hold up?
Oh, I think it does. I watch that all the time. I've watched that like at least 4 times since it came out.
It was one of those movies that, like, was on HBO when I had it, like when I still had cable. And anytime it came on, I watched it. And this had to be like 2017, 2018, whenever that was.
Wait, when did it come out? 2014?
And so I really liked it then. I'm just super worried. I'm super worried that we're gonna get around to it and it's just not
2016.
gonna.
I think out of the movies on this wheel that I have seen, I think the only one I'm worried that might happen to is Wanted.
Oh, you know what I've kind of got, because Wanted kind of feels like Redditor, like lay wrong generation. But then I look at it and I'm like, it's kind of Fight Club-ish too.
It is, and I'm like, how?
Which is
like I'm worried that it might not hold up, because I'm like, maybe Curvin' Bullets was cool to me when I was a teenager or whatever, and now I'll be like, this movie kind of blows. But I mean, how bad could it? The game is good.
You know what else I'm really worried about? Looper.
Really?
Looper. Like, I know Jumper to some extent is pretty bad, but I'm kind of worried about Looper.
I can't remember the last time I watched Looper.
Because if one thing this podcast has done in the time we've been together, it's proven to me that, like, I liked bad shit back in the day, which is not terrible. You can like bad shit, but I can't trust myself anymore.
I know I have seen Looper since it came out. I don't remember. It's been a while though. How about this? What about, who knows? You might end up liking things better.
Right. I do trust Rian Johnson. I like his movies. I like most of his movies. So maybe I just need to stop being a worrying Walter.
Is there a movie on this wheel you haven't seen other than The Beekeeper that you are like worried about?
That I'm worried about, like, not liking?
Yeah, because I know, like, you're like The Beekeeper because I know you've seen the first 10 minutes, and I know you're like excited to see it based on that first 10 minutes. But I know deep down you're like, but what if it sucks?
Not Goldeneye, not RoboCop, maybe Prospect.
I thought you've seen Prospect.
That I haven't seen.
Yeah, that you haven't seen.
That I haven't seen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is there one you haven't seen that you're like, oh, I don't think I'll like that, or you're worried you're not gonna like it?
It's a toss up between Licorice Pizza, which we just got, and Sound of Metal.
Oh yeah, I also haven't seen Sound of Metal.
They're both more artsy, more well-renowned, nominated, award-winning films that I'm just like, I don't truly know if this is going to be something for me, but we'll see. My
worry for Sound of Metal is I am really concerned. Like, I don't know, this came out, like 2 years ago? And I'm, like, I've heard good things and the premise sounds good. And my worry is this going to be a case where, like, it's really just a gimmick?
Yeah.
That's my concern.
I feel that. Well, we'll have to go watch them to determine.
Yeah. But right now it's Licorice Pizza, and next week it's gonna be The Beekeeper. Hopefully,
if you say so.
It's got a 20% chance to be landed on. Every other thing has a 5% chance.
You need to, on the Blue Sky. You need to start doing Beekeeper Watch.
I will. I'll do
Like
it.
we're keeping an eye out for when Beekeeper's going to be watched.
I'll take a
Does this movie
screenshot.
have a following? Does it have? Is there a beekeeper hive? Is there a beehive
I know there's people that
of like
I know there's
beekeeper
people that
nut jobs?
I know there's people who love it. I think the most, we don't have a lot of followers on, I know me and you individually have a lot of followers, but like the podcast account doesn't have that, like a lot of followers. But like our most popular post was when after like the AFI like released their top 10 movies of 2024 on the Stand and Watch account. I posted that the AFI has released their top 10 movies of 2024, and it was just Beekeeper 10 times. That's our most liked post.
This poster for the movie is just so kick-ass of him like dissolving into bees.
It's so good. It's such a good movie.
It's so stupid. It's good. It's like, God damn, I want to watch this movie. I'm holding off until we get it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about it with someone who hasn't seen it before.
You know I'm going to be messaging you while I watch it.
I look forward to it. It's so hilarious in how it escalates.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I've heard the first 10 minutes of the movie talked to death, and I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah. I guess that's it for us. So, give us a review. I'm not going to tell you what kind of review. Just, do whatever you want. Just, it should be a review though. However many stars, it's your choice.
Go review. Just go
Yeah.
review. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Most importantly,
You ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. Most importantly, just tell people to listen. Be like, hey, this fun dad movie podcast I listen to. Check it out. Do that.
Tell other dads, tell other non-dads. We welcome all.
Yeah. If you're a dad, if you have a dad, if you know a dad, if you've ever had a dad, if you're a man who's ever watched a movie where the hero rescues his kidnapped family member and was like, hell yeah. If you've ever stood in front of the TV to watch something, we're here for you.
Get in here.
Yeah, get in here and get everybody
Get in
you
here.
know. Get everybody
Moms
you know
too.
in here.
Moms
yeah.
too.
Yeah. And follow us on the Blue Sky at Stand and Watch. You can follow me and Nick too, but we're not going to tell you our ats. You have to discover that on your own. We can't.
You have to find me.
Yeah, you got to find us. We're not just going to, we'll give you the show's handle. We're not going to give you our handle also, okay? Not everything can be a handout.
I'm not gonna dox myself on the podcast. Are you fucking silly?
Yeah, if you want to follow us, which you should, but you got to work for that information.
I know we haven't recorded in a while. Do you remember our button?
I do remember our button. I'm looking forward to saying
I'm so
it
glad.
again.
I was worried. I was worried he's gonna forget our button.
Oh no, I couldn't forget anyway. I edited like 4 podcasts in a row yesterday because we've been saving them up. And I haven't edited them yet. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta get these done. But I'm very looking forward to saying it. I've been looking forward to it all day. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Stand and Watch. And remember, whatever you do, don't tell your mother.